Okay, guys, next tutorial is on question number 2.2. What actions did British and Māori take after the Treaty of Waitangi was signed to assert and display the power and sovereignty they believed they'd gained from the treaty? Right, let's start with Pākehā. So pretty much in the months after the signing of the treaty, Governor Hobson, who was the Pākehā person in charge. Governor Hobson has put in place new rules and regulations over Māori in those areas where there was a Pākehā presence, which was really only the Bay of Islands at that stage, and in isolated parts of the South Island and around Wellington and the bottom of the North Island. So what he did is he put in place some new rules and regulations. Now, in the Bay of Islands, is where most of the contact was happening at that time. It cost Māori in terms of their trade, and therefore their economy suffered. One example of this new rule was the decision to shift the capital. So Hobson moved the capital from Kororareka or Russell to Auckland. So Auckland was just brand new, it was just a little town, seaside little town that was just growing up in the Waitemata Harbour, and Governor and Hobson decided to make that his what we call seat of power or capital. Okay, but by doing that, it moved a lot of Pākehā away from the Bay of Islands, and it took away trade opportunities from Ngāpuhi, and that upset people like Hone Hiki. The other things that the government, that the Pākehā government set up to it was a part of asserting their authority, was making Māori pay customs duties on goods that they were trading, that they were selling to Pākehā. The government also banned the cutting down of kauri trees, and the Crown's control of land sales they controlled the land sales. So you could only sell land to the government. Māori couldn't sell land to whoever they wanted, and that was seen as an assertion of European or Pākehā authority. More specifically, just after the signing of the treaty, the decision to replace the United Tribes flag that was flying over Kororareka with the British flag was seen by Māori, by Ngāpuhi in particular, as an assertion of British authority, and they didn't like it. They weren't consulted, I guess. So, what did Māori do to assert their authority? Well, in the north, Hone Hiki and Ngāpuhi went to war. Hone Hiki cut down the flagpole a number of times in Kororareka, which sparked the Northern War. And the Northern War ended with some victories on both sides. You could say there's a strong argument that Hone Hiki won that war, but we're going to focus on Te Kingitanga, because that's a really good example of how Māori asserted their authority after the signing of the treaty. Okay, so Te Kingitanga grew up in the late 1850s. So in 1858, a man was made the Māori king. It was only in the Waikato, really. Only the Waikato iwi participated in the king movement, or Te Kingitanga movement. And that began 18 years, in 1858, 18 years after the treaty was signed. Okay. They decided to set up, their authority under a Māori king, because they were faced with an increasing number of Pākehā settlers wanting to move into their area, and they were faced with more and more Pākehā wanting to buy land. So what the Waikato tribes did was they put their authority under one man, the Māori king, and it essentially put a stop to land sales in the Waikato, which happened to be some of the best land in the North Island. And that was their assertion of authority. setting up Te Kingitanga, which was made up of a group of tribes. Now remember this is really important. Because it was made up of more than one tribe, that's what we call a pan-tribal movement, okay? But also remember that the King movement, it didn't cover all Māori, okay? Not all Māori bought into it. It was Māori who lived in whakapapa to the Waikato region, okay? And they stopped. They put a stop to the sale of land, and they were they came to be seen by the British, by the colonial government, by the government as a threat to their authority. But in actual fact, Māori set up Te Kingitanga. The idea to set up a Māori king was not to compete with the government, but rather to create an institution where Māori could communicate and negotiate and work with the British government, with the colonial government. Unfortunately, the colonial government didn't see it quite that way, and it led to, in 1863, the British invading the Waikato. But that's another story. Okay. Hopefully this has been helpful. So re-listen to this, replay it a few times, pick out the ideas that I'm giving you, but also look at the booklet and the areas, the bits in the booklet that I've highlighted and underlined to help you with 2.2. Thank you.